What's going on, everybody? Jack Acid here, bringing you round 9 of the season challenge mode for F1 2012, and we were able to beat Jensen Button and get a contract offer for the final 2 races of the season here with McLaren, and this is where my season will end. And a little bit curious what happens now that we have no more rivals to compete with, and now you can see jumping out there's actually no opportunity for a rival decision there, which is what I expected. And you can see that we're in for a very wet session here at Hockenheim, which is returning to F1 2012 after being gone from F1 2011. And very happy to see it back on the calendar as the German Grand Prix. I prefer it over the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. But the problem that I have coming into this race is I really did not spend a lot of time practicing it. I did go out a couple of laps with the racing corner lines on just to remember where any of my braking points were, but still have not practiced here much at all. And given the rainy conditions and the fact that I'm in a new car, I've never raced a McLaren car in F1 2012, not sure what to expect. And you can see that looks like Mark Webber or Vettel, take your pick, both trading top times here through qualifying and not able to catch up with any of them, and qualifying a miserable 18th, and able to get the Itchy Feet achievement, which I believe is for racing with 5 different teams in season challenge modes. So we've been fortunate enough to beat our rival at every race and able to get the achievement. So that's what that's for. Now starting out here on race day, and you can see that the conditions have not changed at all. And I'm given a objective of finishing at least in 7th position, and starting out from P18, that's probably going to be an uphill challenge, especially given the weather. And again, just not real warm and cozy on Hockenheim just yet. Going to have to see how that goes in career mode. And just so you know, I have actually started my career mode file, but have not had a chance to get any videos posted. I'll be working on that as soon as this series is over, which I'm hoping will be concluded at the end of this week. But we'll see if time's nice to me. So now here we are to start, back up in P18 and already up into P16, coming down to the main straight, and slight contact there with Kobayashi, almost completely blinded by the spray from the cars ahead, and now scooting around here, getting up into P12, coming down into another hard braking point and taking an inside track position, trying to worm my way up into the top 10, and able to wiggle our way up into P9. Weber starts to lose the car a little bit, now trying to take advantage on the outside, now wheel-to-wheel with Weber, chasing down Sergio Perez and the Sauber. And I was basically, had a couple wheels off track there, could not see a thing because of the spray coming down this very long straight, which I've missed a great deal. Coming into a very hard braking point here, now swooping ahead of Massa and avoiding contact and able to get up into P4, now looking at the back of my teammate Hamilton up into P3. But this is basically the best start that I could hope for in these conditions. But let me tell you, wet races in F1 2012 are much more challenging and complicated than in F1 2011 or 10. You learn very quickly that you can't have a whole lot of confidence in your cornering and things like that. You get a lot of understeer if you go too far. As you can see, I start to drift a little bit there. And this corner in particular has been very, very challenging for me to get down. And you can see I start to slide there, drop it into second gear, and able to barely stay ahead of Schumacher. And very, very surprised that we haven't come into contact yet. And you can see that he's swinging around me the best that he can, and start to go a little wide here at the second to last corner. Now trying to keep it in line, and now contact with Schumacher almost pushes me off the track. I almost spun him out, but as soon as there was contact, I backed off and let him go by. Now speeding down into turn 1 and hoping that we can make up some ground on him and not let the position get away from me, but that just goes to show you again. Very, very difficult cornering in these conditions. Slowing down here and trying to get my turn, and you can see that I had a little bit of oversteer there, basically giving the weather a little too much credit, I suppose. Now speeding along here, and Schumacher looks well and gone, and probably going to be no opportunity to get ahead of him. Again, I am running with a slightly wet setup, but I think that I really should have been running with a full wet setup. And this corner in particular, very, very challenging in these conditions, able to swing around, and can see Schumacher now, but you can see that he's got very good pace as we straighten out, and you can see that he's able to pull away from me, and that doesn't bode well. But let's see if maybe we can't catch him up at one of these corners. But again, not really trusting the car to do what I ask it to do as I start to lose it there. But now you can see the gaps behind starting to expand a little bit. And now Perez trying to make a move, and you can see I hit a purple sector time here in lap 2. And again, going way too slow through that entry point. You can see that Perez was keen on making a move, but not able to get around me. And as long as I don't steer off here, I should be able to keep him behind me. But you can see just how badly I'm hanging up the AI. And now coming up to the corner where I allowed Schumacher to get by and handling it a little bit better, but not much. And here comes Sergio Perez on the inside, trying to cut off the racing line there, and somehow able to stay ahead of him at the start of lap 3. And you can see that the cars ahead are very, very far out and short of an off, which could happen. I have seen more AI problems in F1 2012. It's still possible that one of them could blow an engine or something of that nature. And you can see starting to skid down there through that braking point. And this is easily the most challenging part of the circuit in terms of slowing down, coming down this long straight. It's actually kind of a very, very slight left-handed curve. But normally you would want to start braking right at the start of the braking points, but you can see that have to be a lot more conservative in these conditions. And it's also a very, very tight hairpin. You can see on the mini-map it's not a wide hairpin at all. And so you have to get your entry just right, or you're bound to pay the price. But now you can see that definitely getting some pace over the AI. And actually catching up with Schumacher a little bit, not much, only in a 5-lap race, almost no chance of catching him. But if this was a 15-lap race or more, it's possible that we could make up some ground. But at this point, just trying to babysit 5th position and get out of here with some points here with our start with McLaren. And you can hear the car starting to skid out, and now Vettel has overtaken Perez, and he's keen to get around. And let's see if he can do something through these chicanes, and trying to get your entry right here is so difficult. And you can see that I'm still kind of shaken up from the first go with Michael Schumacher, so being probably more conservative than I need to be. But you just absolutely can't trust the weather. Every time you think you've got something down, the next time you go through it, it's a different story. And I'm pretty scared to think of what's going to happen in career mode when tire wear is actually an issue, because tire wear is not turned on for season challenge mode. That's a little disappointing, but I guess it makes sense. And here comes Vettel. Let's see if he's got the pace over us here along the main straight, or the long straight I should say, not necessarily the main straight. Definitely the longest part of the circuit, and you can see that the Red Bull, just as in real life, doesn't have great speed here through the straightaways, but he can make up ground in the corners. And always hitting this braking point with clenched fists. Never really know if I'm going to be able to manage it given the weather conditions, but you can see that the apex is very, very tight there. But as you can see, able to build a little bit of a gap, and that's good news, because these corners will be haunting if not managed correctly. And the 2 corners that are like this get a lot of understeer coming through there, and fortunately for me, the AI is equally slow. And still taking that corner a little bit wide in dry conditions, should be able to hit it almost flat out. And this braking point is especially difficult. As you can see, I start to go a little bit wide and almost into the sand. I do go into the sand, and Vettel trying to make a move, but able to stay ahead of him, and now trying to push around this corner. And it's very easy, usually when I make a mistake, it's easy to push extra hard, and I'm very surprised that I didn't go off on that second corner trying to get my correction. And you can see that Vettel pushing hard now, and now coming down to the last lap. And let's see if we can stay ahead to manage P5. Schumacher, who overtook us way back in lap 2 or so, long gone. And so this is going to be the best that we can do. As you can see from the times, he's close to 10.5 seconds ahead, so no chance to catch him. Just trying to maintain pace over the Red Bull. And Vettel swinging around to the outside there for just a moment, and should be able to stay ahead of him down through here. And going to be a question of the last corners, and see if I can reduce my understeer, take it nice and slow, and probably won't get overtaken by Vettel unless I'm going so slow that it's embarrassing. But you can see able to manage the hairpin, but go wide, but not going to be enough to let the Red Bull by. And now coming into this very, very fast right-handed corner here, can usually take this flat out. And no difference here. And hopefully we can keep the nose pointed in the right direction, able to swing around, feeling very confident. And now just trying to keep the Red Bull in my rear view mirrors for a couple more corners. And can't find my braking point and go wide into the sand. And that's going to cost me dearly as Vettel goes by, and now there's Weber in the Red Bull, and now being hounded by one of the Ferraris that looks like Massa. And unbelievably not overtaken by more cars. I was holding up a pretty good train there, and basically just missed that braking point completely. Couldn't see very well at all. and just trying to nurse the car around to at least hold P7, but that's a very disappointing final lap to give up the 2 positions. But the team objective was 7th position, and we were able to at least finish that way, but very lucky to get out of Hockenheim in the points. And that was definitely very hair-raising, to say the least. And you could see my teammate there finish 3rd. And unfortunately not a whole lot to play for. I'm pretty much well out of the picture for the World Drivers' Championship. Not able to score enough points early on in my season. Given that I started off with Caterham and Toro Rosso, might have been a different story. Likely would have had a better opportunity had I started out on a better team, but the problem with that idea is that your difficulty level dictates which teams you can start with, so definitely an uphill challenge if you start off with one of the lower level teams on hard and are able to actually win the Drivers' Championship. That would be definitely a tall task, but of course possible, given some practice. So that'll wrap things up here at Hockenheim. Hope you'll join me for the last installment of this series, the next episode, which will be at Abu Dhabi. And that will wrap up the season challenge mode altogether, and then I'll be moving on to my career mode series. And it will be my second playthrough posted on my channel. I have an F1 2011 career mode series with Force India, so feel free to check that out in the meantime, as well as a number of other gameplay videos, mostly Forza 4, a lot of which have commentary, and of course more F1 2012. So you can find links to all those playlists in the description here. So thanks again for watching, and I'll hope to see you soon.